Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan, also known as the PC Genie, and today I'm going to be talking about the Opinel No. 8 knife. Now this is a knife that I obtained. It didn't fall off the back of a lorry, as they say, and I didn't buy it. It actually came to me from a washing machine. Yeah, it was, I work in industrial laundrette, and sometimes you get various tools and items which come out of people's pockets, you don't know who they belong to, and we end up being able to sometimes keep them, and I managed to smuggle away this knife. So basically this No. 8 is one of the folding knives by Opinel in France. It has one of these which is available from, I can't remember which they said, 3 or 4 up or something, but basically when you talk about their numbers it's about the size. So No. 8 has something like an 8.5cm blade, and the rest have, smaller and larger blades depending on which number you get. So obviously the safety stop here, I'm going to talk about in a moment, isn't available on ones that are too small to reasonably have it. Now this is basically a little safety stop. It prevents the knife from being opened unintentionally, for safety reasons, and it just has this little slider here. So here's the focus, and it just slides along like that. And then, of course, once that's happened, I can put my thumb in there and open it out. And as a sort of a friction folder, it's not bad. I mean, it's not too loose, it's not too tough on the action. Obviously, this is one that was worn in because it was previously owned, but overall, not bad. Also, the same safety mechanism, you'll see there are, wait for the camera to focus, there are these little slopes. What it means is I can do this, turn that, and that stops the knife from closing unintentionally as well. So even if, in the chance that it ends up becoming, becomes loose and it's trying to close itself, you've got this safety mechanism which stops it from closing in on your hand. So it helps not just the fact that it's well designed and it doesn't seem to be inclined to do that anyway, but also the fact that even if it was loose and was going to close and open unintentionally, you've got this safety mechanism to stop it from happening as an extra resort, which is fantastic. Now, in terms of the blade, it is a stainless steel, definitely stainless. I mean, it's been through a washing machine and had all sorts of bleach go through it, and it's still in a reasonable condition. It has got chrome in it to help prevent rusting. It has quite a decent edge, well, it holds a fairly decent edge. I have sharpened it using my belt sander, but even beforehand, it's got that sort of thinner blade profile that, especially towards the tip, I think it has maybe a distal taper. Actually, no, it doesn't, it's just towards the tip. So it's got quite it holds a very nice edge. I have had some paper and things that I've sliced through, and which I might actually show, I'll show it at the end of this video. And basically it's a very good sort of sharp edge that's great for various purposes. The point is also very useful to stick into things and pry or whatever as well. I wouldn't trust to use it for leveraging things open, like you might do with a Bowie or something like that, because of course it's a thinner and it's got some, I'm very wary of doing this, bit of flex. You'll see it's not a distal taper because it bends on this point. So if I bent it too much, especially if it being stainless steel, it would snap. So it might have a bit of weakness in that sense. Whereas a distal taper, as in starting thickest here and then gradually going thinner to the point, it would bend fairly evenly throughout. So that is a bit of a problem maybe. But I mean, even so, it's not too bad. It's certainly got some flex and spring to it. I certainly haven't encountered any scenario where it would end up snapping or having problems like that. Like I said, with the features, it's very handy, and of course folds away and stores in a pocket. Now, this handle, it is made of beech wood. You can see extra browning and things, bearing in mind it has been through a washing machine. It'll have oil and all sorts of things from engineering on there, but you've typically got, they say it's typically got a sort of a light brown to a sort of pinkish colour, and you can tell it's the beechwood that they usually use because it has these things, they call it's a bit like dashes, just of little black speckled bits. You might notice them along the wood grain, and that's how you can tell that it's beechwood, like in this case. So, I mean, obviously the fact that it has quite literally been through, you know, just been bleached out, and it's still, the blade is not corroded, the handle is still in a fairly good condition. I mean, it's in perfect condition if you ignore the cosmetic blacking effects. So overall, I'd say it's a very nice knife. It's a knife item, but yeah, I mean, it's also not too hard in terms of thumbs. I've found sometimes maybe I can't get my thumbnail into the little, it's the gap. I mean, here's how much it closes, and even when I've got it fully closed as much as I can, you can still see a little bit of the notch, so you can get your fingernail in there to pry it open. But even so, it's not, again, it's not too hard to open, so I've got the safety notch on. It opens and closes fairly easily, even without using the actual groove. So it's very good in that sense. In terms of the durability, you'll hear it sort of rattles a bit. Now, it's normally more solid than this, but the problem is, I did not know about this safety feature. I hadn't looked it up when I actually first found it. So what I'd ended up doing, it's pretty much my fault really. It ended up locking like this to stop it from opening accidentally. I didn't know it had slipped around and done that at the time, and I'd basically tried to open it, wondered why it wasn't working, and had tried to force it open, so it made this bit pop up a bit, so it moves up and down a little bit and it wiggles more. But normally it doesn't rattle around like that, it's much more secure and tight than that. But yeah, I mean, overall as a knife, I have found it, like I say, it's very good, it holds a good edge, it's overall quite durable, it seems to hold its edge quite nicely, it's gone through a washing machine without any corrosion on the blade, the handle is holding up perfectly fine, it opens and closes very smoothly without being too rough or too loose. The safety feature is an extra touch that's very nice as well. And, I mean, this is a particular version of an 8.5, well, it says 8.5 centimetre blade, but you can get them in various sizes, so if you want a smaller one, they've got you covered, and if you want a bigger one, they've got you covered. So this particular one's the number 8 that I'm reviewing, but really, the whole Opinel, you know, sort of a folding knife range is quite good and will suit many purposes. And I'll give you some pictures also of what they show on the website as well, which have better picture than perhaps I'll have with my camera. But there we go, that's the Opinel number 8 knife. I like it. I've had a few knives in my time and some of them were awful. I've had a knife, my hunting knife, which is my favourite, is quite back weighted and is a bit weird to handle and all sorts of things, but this one I like. It's good. And it's also lightweight and easy to carry around. Cheers!